with that reality every single day, and she greets it with remarkable strength. At an age when a lung cancer diagnosis seems really unimaginable, she faces it with courage, grace, determination, never backing down, never giving in. She embodies what it means to live fully, to fight fiercely, and to inspire others every step along the way. We are so honored to have her serve on the Upstage Lung Cancer Board, and she's here tonight to share her very powerful story, the extraordinary Lauren Coy. Please welcome.
When I was diagnosed with lung cancer a little over 3 years ago, I wasn't really upset to say. I was more shocked but relieved because I had been sick since the time I was in elementary school. I had frequent bouts of pneumonia and bronchitis since elementary school, and then by middle school, I had grown into asthma while all of my friends and even my twin sister was growing out of her inhalers. I suddenly had to get more stronger inhalers, and it got to the point that in high school and college I was wheezing chronically, and I was spiking fevers more than I was spiking my drinks. Then the COVID pandemic hit, and I was convinced that I was the first COVID case just because I was so sick all the time. But I never tested positive, and eventually I ended up drowning in a lake, and I was so sick after that. I went to doctors and they kept telling me it was just shock, my body's in shock, you'll be fine. Then I just kept coughing, and they're like, that's not a respiratory infection, take some antibiotics. That's been, the infection never went away. Well, that turned into a sinus infection, gave me more antibiotics. And then I still got more sick, and then it was bronchitis, and they gave me more antibiotics. At this point, I'm on antibiotics for 2 months. And it wouldn't go away, so then it was bronchitis, give me more antibiotics, and it still wouldn't go away, and nobody thought to just give me an x-ray. So eventually one day I was at work, and I was hallucinating, and my fever was so high, I drove myself to the emergency room, and I sat there for 11 hours, and they had tested me for sepsis, for kidney failure, for heart failure, and again, no x-ray. Eventually, on hour 9, they finally did a chest x-ray, and that's when they found my lung was collapsed, and it probably had been collapsed for a couple months, maybe a year or so. They told me, go on more antibiotics, and it'll reinflate itself. You're too young to have lung cancer. You're too young to have anything. It's nothing. And my mom was with me at the time, and she said we were sitting in this bed until they agreed to do a CAT scan. And so they scheduled a CAT scan for a month later, and they had told me that I did have a tumor that was completely blocking my right lung and collapsing it, but they wanted me to wait 6 months to go get seen by a specialist because it's not cancer. There's no way I had cancer. I was just turned 24 at the time. But I called my insurance company, and they gave me a list of every single specialist around. I called every person until finally someone saw me. And when someone agreed to see me within a few days, they had asked me if I had anything for breakfast, and I said, yeah, of course I did. And they said, well, too bad, we would put you into emergency surgery. That tumor needs to be removed right now. So that's what they did. And a couple days later, they did a bronchoscopy, removed most of my tumor. And a few days later, I got an email telling me that I had cancer. And then the phone call came where they told me they would remove 2 inches, just a wedge resection of my lung, and that should be it. But within a month, that wedge resection became to a full lower lobectomy. And then by the time my surgery had come, they had told me that my way of life was probably going to be changed. I would probably not be able to live my healthy lifestyle that I was in with hiking or anything. And they told me I'd probably struggle to go up a flight of stairs. And by the time that my surgery came, and I woke up in the hospital, my cancer had begun to spread upwards. So they told me they had to remove my lower lobe and my middle lobe. And again, I was told I'd never be a runner, I'd never run a marathon, not that I ever was a runner, because running's boring. But 7 weeks later, I had decided to sign up for my first 5K, and I ended up winning. and breaking that finishing ribbon just kind of broke the stigma around lung cancer for me. I have since gone on to do multiple half marathons, 2 PAMAS challenges, and I just completed a full marathon this summer in Minnesota. I'm on my way down to DC this weekend to help plant 60,000 white flags across the National Mall. To show support for and I'm just not going to stop until, you know, we end the stigma surrounding lung cancer, and I'm going to keep lending my voice to those who don't have it, until we make screening more readily available for everybody, because at 24, I shouldn't have had to go through that much. I should have been able to get an x-ray for lung cancer. So thank you for everything you guys are doing on Upstage and everybody here who's supporting this. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.